I think for me, the connection between energy policy, climate change, and jobs here in Pennsylvania is probably the number one long-term thing that we need to get right, both to do our part to save the planet, but also I think to be politically successful in our state. We have a lot of middle-class jobs here that are tied to steelmaking, natural gas, even some coal, other forms of manufacturing, and getting the transition right to other forms of energy is not only something that we owe these workers, which we do, but it's going to be a source of strength for us in the long term if we get it right before other people do. So I think we should be the first state in America and actually in the world to make steel out of hydrogen. I think we should be the site of the first advanced nuclear reactors. I think we should figure out how to bury CO2 before anyone else does, while we are still expanding the amount of solar and wind on the grid. We can do all of that stuff. We have the industrial know-how here, but it's going to take a lot of federal research investment that you need someone to go down there and fight for. That's what I've done in the House as a member of the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. I actually led the Energy Subcommittee for a while, and that's the kind of senator I'd be. As far as free and fair elections, you can see our priorities laid out in two very important bills, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act, both of which we've passed multiple times in the House of Representatives and have been subject to the filibuster in the Senate. I am for getting rid of the filibuster as a first and important step to get these things done. They would do things like encourage more vote by mail, early voting, same day registration, election day as a national holiday, additional election security measures to prevent unfair outside influence, as well as domestic misinformation, gerrymandering reform, campaign finance reform. And of course, the Voting Rights Act would allow DOJ to actually go into a lot of states and localities and stop unfair and racially discriminatory practices. So those bills are written. We just need one or two votes in the Senate to get rid of the filibuster and get that done. I do think we have to get rid of the filibuster to do that. A perfect example is the Equality Act. You want to talk about protecting all Pennsylvanians. We need to add LGBTQ folks under the protections of the federal civil rights law. That's what the Equality Act would do. We've passed it twice in the House, and it can't get through the Senate because of the filibuster. So I think actually if we got rid of the filibuster, you'd see Republicans vote for bills like that because it would be so shameful to be on the wrong side of history. And there are other bills as well that they would end up cooperating with us on once they knew they were actually going to pass. What the filibuster does now is it just creates a chilling effect where people don't even have to come to the table because the bar is just way too high. So those are some things I'd like to do. I really believe I've learned a lot in the last 4 years about how to do this job as a legislator productively, and those skills and experiences and relationships in the Senate would allow me to represent all of Pennsylvania very effectively for a long time to come. Thank you.